It seems that many of us, especially here in the US, value being busy and working over self worth and self care. And I say this with such directness because this has been my life for as long as I can remember, partly because it's what I saw growing up. But on the other side, I can say that, well, society has conditioned us to accept this as normal, but it's not normal. In fact, it's opposite of what we should be prioritizing in our lives. What does it really mean to take care of yourself? A question I've asked myself often, and despite what our social media feeds convey, at its core, self care is about recharging and reducing stress. It's a way to revive your mental and emotional energy and recommit to knowing your self worth. Neglecting regular moments of self care will eventually leave us feeling drained, burned out, anxious, or all of the above. So, since life may never fully get less busy, it's time we embrace everyday moments of self care instead. Here are 6 ways to incorporate self care into your routine so you can actually get your life together rather than wishing you did after your best years have passed. Number one is acknowledge your emotions. Self care is essential to your mental health and well being. And taking the time to listen to what you need and addressing it doesn't make you selfish. And anyone in your life who thinks it does is wrong. So, the very first self care habit that I want you to start prioritizing in your life today is making sure you're dealing with your emotions. Take the time to process your feelings and don't rush through them or ignore them altogether. Acknowledging your feelings can slow you down and help you think rationally, which is the perfect recipe for prioritizing self worth and self care. Number two is get quiet. You'll be surprised by how much silence can teach you. So consider sitting down to meditate, journal, daydream, or pray even for just a few minutes a day. Carving out time to get quiet and focus your attention inward can help boost resilience and emotional well being when presented with stressful situations or feelings of overwhelm. You can even try deep breathing exercises if that's something you're into. But the goal here is simple: separate yourself for just a few minutes a day from whatever or whoever is demanding your time and energy. This way, you can focus on you and start prioritizing you. Number three is something that I've been doing for years and have talked about for years, but have not considered in this format until recently, and that is art journaling. This is a very vague term, but at its core, to me, it's about marrying two types of self expression: a written journal and a vision board. Now, I can't take credit for this idea because I learned it from Amanda Rach Lee, who is a YouTuber, but she also has a Skillshare class about art journaling for self care, where she shares 3 exercises for self reflection and growth that I found a lot of value in personally and have since started my own variation of art journaling. And since I'm a visual person anyway, it's been working out pretty well.
For this last exercise, this one is a bit tougher in terms of self reflection, but I do think a good place to start, actually, if you are struggling, is to kind of respond to the vision board. When we're talking about things we want or when we're vision boarding, sometimes it's almost like you're pointing out things that you're lacking or that you don't have, and staying in that mindset isn't always healthy. So I think as a response to the vision boarding exercise that we just did, where we're talking about things that we want or don't necessarily have in our life at the moment, we are going to talk about ourselves and what we do have and what we do like about ourselves. And it'll be interesting even to go side by side, and maybe I'll try to come up with prompts that do sort of mirror the vision board, but from the other perspective.
So, if you're into journaling or if you're into creating vision boards, consider marrying the two together. And if you're interested in what Amanda has to say about this, then consider checking out her class here on Skillshare, which is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for both creative and curious people. You can learn so many new things from business to photography or self care journaling exercises like in Amanda's class. So, if you're interested in Skillshare, and since they're sponsoring today's video, the first 1,000 people to use my link in the description below will get a 1 month trial of Skillshare Premium. Number four is treat yourself daily. Instead of feeling miserable and burned out for 5 days a week and patiently waiting for Saturday and Sunday to roll around, try treating yourself daily. And here's what I mean by that. I read or heard a question somewhere, I can't remember where, but when I heard it, it blew my mind and really made me rethink this notion of treating yourself. The question is this: what are you doing daily that brings you joy? If your reaction right now is anything like mine was, then you're probably in deep thought like, dang, what am I doing that brings me joy? And if so, great, because I want you to think about this question until you have an answer. because treating yourself and doing something every day that makes you happy should be a priority and not an afterthought. Number five is learn to say no. A unique way that I want you to think about this is in terms of decluttering your commitments. And this can be hard, especially if you don't want to upset anyone or let them down or be the person who always sucks the fun out of everything. But setting limits on your time can help you deal with feelings of anxiety, stress, and irritability from taking on too much. So hear me when I say this. Your emotional energy is not limitless. It gets depleted from doing too much for too long without taking breaks. And when we ignore these signs of burnout, it means we're not prioritizing self care and our personal needs. So, to continue with this trend of directness that I'm exuding in this conversation, I really want to encourage you to learn to say no so you can then say yes to the things, activities, and commitments that not only matter most to you, but will also allow time in your schedule for self care. Number six is nourish your body. Regular exercise and eating healthy are things I've talked about and shared the importance of with you before. So the message in this conversation isn't going to be any different. The best thing you can do for yourself is to move every day. So set aside 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 or 30 minutes a day to walk, run, ride a bike, or lift weights. Just do something that's going to help you break a sweat and get moving. In addition to this, meal prepping is an activity that is often overthought and overcomplicated. So I want to encourage you to simplify your thoughts and feelings towards food. All it takes is an extra 10 to 15 minutes per week to plan ahead and prepare your meals in bulk, whether that's your lunch for work or dinner for the week. When you do this, it becomes much easier to maintain healthy eating habits, which means you're prioritizing your self care and not just eating junk and different things that aren't good for you. I hope you found value in this conversation. And if you did, comment below and let me know which self care habits you're prioritizing in your life. Keep growing, keep learning, and always stay true to you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.